For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. Believe it or not, a Yeti in the Rhodope Mountains, in the country of Bulgaria, Europe, legend or truth? An incident from March 1985 raises a mountain of questions, but even 27 years later, they still have no clear answer. The locked door of the unexplained, which opens with the key of imagination, has been fueling human curiosity since time immemorial. Behind it lies a land of shadows and matter, of mysteries and truths buried in legends deep beneath the blankets of time, fear, hypotheses, the unknown, temptation, and rationality. A vast field that often ends with an unexpected twist. There are hardly more convincing proofs of the attractive force of the extraordinary than the success of monster films. Dracula, Frankenstein, King Kong continue to hunt their victims through countless retellings and variations on the original theme. Horrors like dinosaurs crawl out of laboratories, as in Jurassic Park, or hatch from nuclear bombs, as in Godzilla, to devastate entire cities. Creatures like the great white shark from Jaws or the bloodthirsty piranhas from the film series of the same name keep devouring frightened souls in dark cinemas. No less dangerous are the giant ants, spiders, scorpions, and mysterious aliens from faraway space, mutated in Hollywood's phantasmagoric productions. But when these enigmatic beings become protagonists in the news and possess eyewitness accounts, it becomes more difficult to walk the path of total denial of the problem. Even after we dismiss the obvious fabrications among what was seen. What should we say about the footage of the new Loch Ness Monster, the giant worm lurking in the waters of Iceland's J.O. Kolsa River and Lake Lagarfajot, the mysterious mutant, or rather mega boar, Hogzilla, and other such monsters that ignite the imagination of mystery lovers and seekers of unsolved secrets of all ages. People usually use the word monster rather freely, describing any creature that invokes terror. In mythology, monsters are hybrids of humans and devils, or of humans and various animals. Yet in the features of these supposed beings, we can sometimes detect something human, which can make the combination even more repulsive. Giants among humans, ignoring such brutal interpretations and disputes. Strange giants have wandered the world for a long time. The stories are numerous and geographically diverse. They say that one type still roams the earth today, but prefers secluded places and avoids human encounters. In the Himalayas, the Sherpas mention the Yeti, or the abominable snowman. In the northwestern regions of the United States and areas near Canada, it is called Sasquatch or Bigfoot. In the forests of the Caucasus, the snowman. Many reports describe the mysterious creature as a bipedal animal from the Hominidae family, covered with short reddish, brown fur on the face, arms, and feet. It walks upright and stands between 2 and 4 meters tall. The creature is timid, elusive, and generally not hostile. Eyewitnesses categorically deny the possibility that they confused it with a bear monkey or any known animal. According to Igor Burtsev, head of the International Center for Hominology, the legendary creatures also roam Siberia. The researcher is convinced that these beings have expanded their range and, besides their native Himalayas, can now be found in Russia's steppes and tundra, where the world's largest population is believed to live. It is assumed that in Kemerovo Oblast alone, in western Siberia, around 30 snowmen reside, likely the missing link between Neanderthals and modern humans. In October 2011, an international expedition led by Burtsev, including scientists from the USA, Sweden, Estonia, and Russia, visited the Azovskaya cave in Kuzbas. There the researchers discovered a 45-centimeter footprint of an unknown creature with fur stuck to it. Analysis of the hair at the Zoological Institute of the Russian Academy of Sciences in St. Petersburg confirmed that the Kuzbas Yeti is not a myth. Its hair turned out to be identical to other snowman samples found in various parts of the world. Burtsev collaborates with thousands of volunteer researchers worldwide. One of those who reached out to him is the only Bulgarian who documented traces of the mythical creature, Veselin Durchev. Physical evidence. Veselin's story begins like a fairy tale. On a March morning in 1985, he went for a walk in the Rhodope Mountains. He decided to climb above the road and there stumbled upon unusual tracks. At first he got scared, but luckily he had his camera at hand and photographed the tracks. The footprints were aligned in a straight line, unlike the slightly spread pattern of human walking. The prints in the snow led toward the forest uphill, but Veselin's first thought was to turn back. He had heard of such strange beings in the USA, USSR, and Canada, but had never imagined that such a thing could be found on Bulgarian soil. For a long time, Veselin kept the incident to himself. He sometimes discussed it with friends, but when he showed them the photos, they looked skeptically. Some suspected a hoax, others that the prints were bear tracks or artificial molds. So Veselin decided to trust specialists in the unusual and brought the photos to the editorial office of Cosmos magazine. The originals were kept there and sent to the Institute of Criminology and Criminalistics. Experts from the Institute, the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, and the International Society of Cryptozoology, the study of still unknown but presumably existing animals, concluded that these were not human tracks due to the uniform size of the toes and the unusually wide portion of the foot. Unlike bear tracks, the prints show a strong indentation on the medial edge, characteristic of humans but not of bears, the expert report stated. The scientists proposed 3 possible explanations: deformed bear tracks, artificially made human footprints, or resemblance to tracks found in the USSR and USA attributed to so-called relic hominids. The snowman. No matter how fantastical the version seems, we are obliged to mention it, the scientists added. Later, The photographs and film were sent to cryptozoology specialists in the USSR. A conclusion never came because the film was irretrievably lost. Years later, Veselin contacted Igor Burtsev. The Russian's opinion was that the tracks found in 1985 indeed belonged to a relic humanoid. But I am surprised that they are also in Bulgaria. Not long ago, I did not believe similar information sent from Poland. But later I received data from France and now your photos from Bulgaria. Thank you very much, he wrote in correspondence with Veselin. Hominology, the study of relic hominids, considered a branch of primatology, linking zoology and anthropology. Veselin Derchev. This phenomenon should not become a sensation. Bulgarians tend to deny everything at first, and this prevents them from seeing the world with different eyes, says the discoverer of the mysterious tracks in Bulgaria. When and how did your encounter with the snowmen occur? In March 1985, in an area between Sarnitsa and Dospat, at about 1,100 meters altitude, we were walking on the road connecting the two villages, and at one point I decided to climb a bit above the road. There I saw tracks unusual to me. At first I was frightened. Then I decided to photograph them. I placed my own foot next to the print for scale. Have you spoken to anyone else who has seen the mysterious creature? Right afterward I spoke to local residents, but they didn't want to talk about it, maybe out of fear of being considered crazy, or perhaps in the struggle of daily life, they simply ignore such tracks. Nevertheless, from their stories I learned that high up in the mountain there is a cave with a constant temperature, where there is always ice. In my opinion, the creature had been at the reservoir, likely fishing, and climbed along the road to continue toward the cave. Did you return to that place? Perhaps a month later, but no one wanted to talk, even when I showed them the photos. How do you explain that? I think people are afraid. I experienced this myself. Some think I staged it deliberately. But throughout all these years, I have never tried to gain fame or stir noise and interest around myself with this topic. My first thought was to bring the photos to Cosmos magazine. The whole staff was shocked when they saw them. They told me to bring the film. I cut out those specific frames, and they sent them for examination to the Institute of Criminology. The expertise confirmed they weren't falsified. Later, the film was sent to the USSR for further analysis, where it got lost. Apparently, some people could not accept that such a creature might exist in Bulgaria, not only in our then Big Brother. More interestingly, the Institute took additional photos showing not 4, like mine, but 8 consecutive footprints, described in the scientist's report. Does the phenomenon provoke the imagination and science? But could this creature be solitary? It likely has a population, but perhaps its senses are tuned so it is active only at night and lives only in caves. A Bulgarian TV program showed eyewitnesses who saw a similar creature near a reservoir by Haskovo. Why do you think it avoids humans? I believe it is an animal instinct for self-preservation. But to be honest, When I spoke with the Cosmos journalists, I didn't want to reveal the exact location because I feared people would go looking for it with guns. Lately, I've thought about all the skeptics. I am ready to offer a reward of 1,000 leva. Let's see if anyone can make the same footprints. Seriously. Or let someone go to a forest where there are bear tracks in winter. Mark them, preserve them, and let's see in spring whether they look the same. It's easy to check. It's easier to mock, deny, and call someone a liar. If I were a skeptic, I'd go try to expose the liar if I wanted the truth to prevail. But apparently no one cares. In Russia, the USA, and Canada, everything is handled differently. Last year there was an international conference on this topic in British Columbia near Vancouver. Burtsev invited me. People have been conducting research for years. But here we again face lack of confidence and skepticism. Bulgarians deny everything first, and this prevents them from developing and seeing the world differently. The snowman may be a missing link in the evolutionary chain. Whatever it is, it deserves study, even from a business perspective. This could bring benefits. The nearby settlements could develop through tourism, as they did in Russia in the town near the caves where the snowman was seen. They organize festivals and sell souvenirs. But first we must know what could come out of all this. What does this strange being look like in your view? I am 1.90 meters tall. After seeing its footprint, it must be over 3 meters. I weigh 110 kg. It must be around 250 kg. I wear size 4/445 shoes, and you can see how much larger the snowman's footprint is. I cannot say anything about its appearance. I accept others' descriptions. But what I disapprove of is that everyone treats the topic as a sensation, and I never wanted that. I see myself as a detached observer watching the process. The positive thing is that there is progress. Still, I wish we had a different attitude toward this phenomenon, to search for the creature. People seem ready now to talk about the snowman, but it must be done differently. It must not be sensationalized. Is the snowman closer to humans? No, but in my eyes it's not an ape either. I see it as the prototype of Chewbacca, the hairy character from Star Wars, companion of Han Solo in George Lucas's films. Is it friendly toward humans? If it weren't, it would kill people and animals. I don't think it eats meat, probably fish and plants. You could have sold your story for thousands of dollars. Why didn't you? Because I'm not a merchant. I could sell the photos too, but I don't. I'm so busy with my work that I don't have time for nonsense. What would you say to all the skeptics who you cannot convince personally? Let them prove it's fake. It's not easy. It's easy to mock, hard to prove forgery. For me, there is no doubt this creature exists. From the moment I saw the tracks in 1985, my mission is to follow how this process develops. Some people will accept my words, others won't. I am not offended. What matters is that someone whose job it is, someone who wants to discover new things, becomes interested. Every creature has a purpose. I don't know what the purpose of the snowman's existence is, but that doesn't mean it is imaginary. The interview with Mr. Derchev was made possible thanks to Ozum magazine. I've never seen such a huge creature. 3,004 meters tall. Louise Baxter from Washogal, Washington, was driving home after taking her mother to the airport. At one point she thought her tire was flat and stopped to check. While I was looking at the front right wheel, with my back to the forest, I suddenly felt someone watching me. I turned around, and then I saw Bigfoot. I have never seen such a gigantic creature, 3-4 meters tall, very broad-shouldered, with an elongated body. It was brown, enormous and hairy. It looked more like a human than an animal and seemed intelligent. I could see it in the eyes. They were huge and glowing. Louise recalls, it's about 180 cm tall. It has a very short, thick neck, deep-set eyes, a rounded chin, long arms, and hairy ears. Its feet resemble human feet but are much larger, describes Canadian hunter John Bindernagel. The 100,000 reward for a live Yeti. Anyone who captures a live Yeti or Bigfoot is offered a reward of 100,000. Despite the significant incentive, no one has claimed the reward yet.